Hello, welcome back. I'm Claire, this is Purple Poppy, and today we are on Sunday stitching with dregs of a cup of coffee. Now, I wasn't quite sure what to do today. We've worked in this book for a couple of weeks, so I feel like, it's time for a little bit of a change. I've also got these two projects on the go. This is the Anne Brooks 52 blocks. So we've got a sheet that's, a piece of fabric's divided up, and each week we do another one. But as always, I'm filming ahead and we haven't yet had this week's prompt, so I can't do that with you. Maybe I'll save it and we'll do it next week. So we're back to this book, and this is the book that was started because of the reverse applique, which I loved. And I've now been putting in some of the K3M pieces and also pieces that I already had done. This one needs finishing. And this week, which is week 8, she was doing Pajaki, something like that. Pajagi, I think it's called. But you can pop along to her channel and have a look. But you need fabric that's solid, that's the same colour on both sides. So I've picked out these 3. Although this book is mainly blue, I've got coffee dyed papers, so I think that's going to work okay. And what she basically did is, this Pajagi is a double seamed project. So you have 2 pieces that lap and then fold like that, if that makes sense. So they overlap and then they fold in. And so it should be the same on both sides. That's the theory anyway. So I'm going to get myself a piece of fabric. Now, she did say that we should cut rather than tear, but hey ho. I think that's going to be too big. So I'm going to trim it down to about there. Okay. She probably told us to cut for a reason, so that we didn't get all those frays. But anyway, so that piece I want to join. We better get the scissors, haven't we, and do it properly. I want to join to a piece of this mid colour. So I'm going to cut another piece. Well, cut the first piece because I tore the other one, didn't I? And it needs to be the same length apparently. So cut it off there. And then to keep the blue, I've got blue threads here. But what you need apparently is a big seam at the top so that you can fold it over. So I'm going to get rid of this white thread. I'm going to go in with a navy, I think. So I've got a piece here that is 2 strands from something I was doing. So I'm going to use that. And that's how I'm going to bring the blue back in, if that makes sense. So, got a thread. And Catherine basically did a running stitch. Yeah, I've got a knot. So, into the end, and she did a very, very small, almost tiny running stitch. So I'm going to do that, work my way across here. How are you? What have you been up to? And then just obviously put it back straight. And the idea of doing several is to try and get a straight line. We'll see how we go. And she was saying you do need lightweight, thin fabrics. So things like these three, which are old bed sheets, you know, they've been used and worn, they're soft, you know, and quite thin. So apparently that's great for this project. And I knew my running stitch would get much bigger than hers was, but what can you do, you know, like that. Okay, and then she just finished it off with a normal knot or wrap like that, and she left the thread on. Oh, hang on, let me get this right. So you fold up, and you can press with an iron or finger press that row of stitching, and then you turn it over and you bring it back down, and then this one goes over there, and then it goes over again, and then you stitch again. So I'm going to go up to the top edge now, and I'm going to do the same. I suppose I should pin it actually, shouldn't I, so that it stays in place. She did actually pin hers. That'll probably make life a little bit easier. So let's give it a pin. I'm only going to put one sort of through the centre, and then I'm going to do this running stitch across the edge. This reminds me, I mean it's not the same, it reminds me of French seams that you do on clothes, because it hides the seam. You get no raw edges because all the raw edges are inside there, aren't they? So that's what it reminds me of. Anyway, we'll see. I've never done it before, so we're going to have a little play and see how we get on. Move my pin along now. Like that. And then feeding through. Now my running stitch is appalling, it's not straight at all, but I suppose that's part of the character. I don't know, I should try harder I suppose to get a straight line. And I'm running short of thread, but I wanted to do each set of seams in a different blue, so maybe that'll make it okay. Let's be honest, I have no clue what I'm doing. And then pull that through. I knew that was going to be a bit of an issue because I was short of thread. So we've got one seam on the back, two seams on the front, and no raw edges. So I think I've done it right. So now let's use a piece of the lighter thread, which again needs to be the same length. Currently that is the only rule. They need to be the same length. So now we pull it down so that we've got our, she said about a 1/4 of an inch. I think that's more than 1/4 of an inch. But anyway, and now I'm going to use my needle with a different colour. I'm going to use the light blue this time, I think. Whoops. And this is a full piece, so I'm going to need to separate this out. Maybe we'll just use a single thread this time. What do you think? See what happens. Obviously it'll be much thinner, but a bit of fun nonetheless. Oh, can't thread the needle. There we go. So what are you up to? Now I did put a video out a couple of days ago asking about thumbnails, and I'd just like to say a huge thank you to all those people that took the time to answer my question. Your input is greatly appreciated, along with all your very kind comments. Thank you so much. I think I mentioned it in my Friday video, but it is important to me that you know you're appreciated and that I do value your opinions. We are quite a happy little tribe, as it were, so it'd be so fantastic if only we could all actually meet up, but we are so many miles apart, that's never really going to happen. Right, so come through there like that, and then I'm just going to finish it off with a little knot or a wrap round. And cut that off. I've also, I don't know if you've discovered her yet, but I've also been watching Sally over at Dotty Bee. She was doing, oh, see now I've forgotten what I'm doing already. We're going this way, aren't we? We're going, no, we're going this way. That's right. We go this way. So we go over and then over again. I'm actually going to use 2 pins this time because one wasn't really enough, was it? I see, I forgot my stride there for a minute, didn't I? Yes, Sally over at Dotty Bee. I know, well, I don't actually know her, but I know Sally's work because she and I were swap partners in the Artifartiani Great Big Little Stitchery Swap. So, you know, Sally and I have swapped work, and I do know her work because of that. But I wasn't aware until the other day that she actually had a YouTube channel. So I've popped over and I've been watching her. And yesterday, I think it was yesterday. Now I'm filming ahead, as always. It's not Sunday, it's Friday. So when I say yesterday, I actually mean Thursday. So Thursday of this week, I saw a video of hers. I think she put it up on Thursday, where she had some old 1930s embroidery transfers, and she was able to use them. They still worked, and whoops, she'd ironed them on and was doing a piece with them. But one thing she did, which I thought was absolutely awesome, was she was making some cherry blossoms, and she she cut some circles and folded them in quarters to make the petals, which I thought was absolutely awesome. It looked so lovely. It was all fluffy, and so if you don't know her, maybe pop over and have a look. I'll leave a link to her channel in the description bit, you know, and you could maybe go and have a little look, especially if you like the idea of those fluffy flowers. It was awesome. And she's a lovely lady. She's like the rest of us. She chats away about life while she's stitching, and as far as I know, she does only do stitching on her channel, nothing else. So if you're a stitcher, which you probably are, which is why you're here today, yeah, go over and have a look, see what you think. We have to support each other, don't we, on channel building. Right, so let's have a look. Well, we have got 2, 1, 1, 2. They are far but from straight, and I didn't really pull that one up enough, look, because I've got a flap there, but I'll forgive myself for that. Yeah, I quite like it. So now I think what I want is I want some dark brown, because if it's going to sit on my page, say there, I would like a long, oh look at that, that is almost the right length. I'd like a long one, whoops, that goes all the way down here. And then I'll maybe put one along the bottom so that it fits on my page. So we come down again, don't we, to give ourselves that big seam. We need a different blue, so we use dark and we've used the light. What about if we go for this like turquoisey one as it's on this page, and then maybe that one. So I'm going to do this one first. Give myself quite a long piece, because that's a long piece of fabric we've got there. I'll have to sort all them threads out when I've finished. Right, let's get this in there. And then once it's in, we can start stitching. So this is my sheepies. This turquoisey colour is 397, and we're going to just start again. So it's very, very simple to do, because it is just running stitch and straight lines. Although I have to be honest and say, although it would still be straight lines, the piece that Catherine showed us that she'd done before wasn't squares and rectangles. Oh, it was, oh, come on. Why won't that pull through? What's going on here? You've got something weird going on the end there, because my needle won't pull through. What was I saying? Oh, the piece that Catherine was showing us. There you go. I don't know what that was, but it's come through now. That she'd done previously wasn't squares and rectangles. It was all much more sort of polygons and triangles and odd shapes. But of course you're still just stitching in a straight line, aren't you? So yeah, I've got some scraps of thread. And the other thing Catherine was saying is obviously you can just keep going and going and going until it's as big as you want it to be. Oh, we've got a knot, a big, humongous, weirdo knot. What has happened here? Oh, fortunately it was just a wrap round. There you go. Yeah, you can just keep going until it's as big as you want it to be. So, I mean, she was saying one of the things that they are often used for is like gift wrapping, or so you could make it into a bag, or just a cloth that you use as like a wrapping paper, or if you really had the staying power, you could keep going till you'd made a sheet, I suppose, or like, you know, a duvet cover or something. I don't know. I mean, I'm just doing a sample from my book page. Right. Okay. So we just finish that off. Oh, it sounds like Boo's on her way down, looking for lunch. Hubby is off at meetings, so it's just Boo and I here. But sun's out. Can't believe it. So I can fold it out flat like that. We turn it over and see, this is the bit that I'm still struggling with. Over and over. That's how it goes. I think if you did a fair few, it would just become automatic. Whereas for me at the moment, I'm still sort of struggling to remember the next step because I've never done it before. I think we're getting there, and I think it's working out the way it's supposed to, so we can't complain. And I quite like that I've got two there. I'm going to have two there, but I've only got one there. And you can see here I've got two, one, and I'm going to have one here. So it's interesting. I dare say, in fact, I think Catherine mentioned it, that if you wanted all your doubles on one side and all your singles on the other, you could sew it in a set way in order to make sure that happened. But I feel for me personally, that's a thinking step too far at the moment. Maybe if I get sort of really into it, then that's something I could look at in the future. But at the moment, I'm just about managing to fold the right bit in the right place. So those of you that have been watching along with the pieces of the past journal, I have this morning got all the signatures sewn into the cover, and that means that all the odd stuff like stitching of pages and such like has already been done, because you can't really do that until after you've stitched it in. So that's all done. The signatures are in. There's 4 signatures. I've got the end pages to get in, and I've got to get a closure on it, but it won't be long, I don't think, before there's a flip through for you of that Chunky Monkey Lace journal. Okay, so that's the end of that one, like that. And then I'm going to use this dark one, this one, to come across, whoops, the bottom. So I'm going to cut a piece about that wide. That's about 2 inches, isn't it? Something like that. And that's all my fabrics finished with. Sort them out when I'm done. But we want this to be the same length. So trim that up there. And then we're going to bring it down. So we've got that nice big hem. We're going for this different blue again. And we'll get this threaded in and stitch this up. I just suddenly thought, I haven't shared this with you yet, but the camera is running all right, isn't it? You can see what I'm doing. Yeah, I think it is. Because this is actually my 3rd attempt at recording this video. The first time I did, because I started trying to do it yesterday, and the first time I did it, Boo went off alarming, and there was somebody at the door, and then there was a load of noise in the street, and I thought, oh, I'm just not going to bother. So I waited an hour or so till everything had calmed down, and then I obviously had to do something else because I'd done what I was doing in that video, or I'd done too much of it to, you know, pick up. It would only been half a video. So then I started a different project, and then when I said, so thank you for joining me, I hope you've had joy and inspiration, as I always say, I stood up to turn the camera off and realised the camera was off. My phone was out of power, so it had turned off, I don't know, about halfway through. So then I was like, oh, for goodness sake, I give up. So then, of course, I've come in today, and that's where I've had to go, right, so we need a 3rd project. Oh, dear. But I'm quite glad, actually, because I've enjoyed doing this. There's a knot there. I thought there was. There we go. We've pulled that out. Oh, that sounded like hubby's phone, but he's not here. And I double checked he had his phone before he left. So somebody's obviously got the same ringtone, mind you. How many millions of phones are there at the moment? Somebody else is bound to have the same ringtone, aren't they? And he's definitely not back because Boo's not getting excited. So, right, we finish this off with a little wrap to form a knot. Right, bring it up, finger press it, pushing it away. I'm trying to talk to myself now so I don't forget. Turn it over and wrap over that thread, that raw edge, and then fold it back up. There, you see, you have got it, Claire. You have got it. Now, as I say, my running stitch is a bit rubbish. It's anything but straight, and my length of, you know, space between where everything is different. But we have actually got the Pajagi seams we've got a patchwork stitched together in that way, and it's a nice little sample to go in my book, so I'm quite pleased with that. And as I say, apart from remembering which bit to turn where, it's probably the easiest little stitching project sample that I've done, especially bearing in mind I've done it like for the first time on camera. That was a bit brave, wasn't it? But I think it's worked out okay. And I do like, I'm glad I decided to do, you know, bring the blue in like this, because I do like the way the blue stands out in the, oh, where's my thimble? I bought a thimble. Claire, put your thimble on. There you go. But then I can't stitch with it. Craziness. But it is there. I can just pick it up and push the needle through with it, because of course at some points you've got 4 layers of thread, so there is a little bit of pushing, which of course is why Catherine said it needed to be thin fabric. Makes sense. Wrap that round, tie that off, and would you look at that, there it is. Do I want it that way, or do I want it that way? Started out life that way, didn't it? And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pin it there, and I'm going to pin it, oops, there, like that. And I'm going to choose a different blue, so this is the only blue I've got left now. Oh, or that one, but that's the same colour, I think. I think this is, no it's not. Well, I think we'll go for this one. We'll go for the ice blue. And I'm just going to do a running stitch all the way around to hold it down. So, get ourselves a nice little length. Probably miles too much, usually is. And we'll thread this up. And then that's that page done in this book. Oh dear. Sun's out, shadows dancing across the kitchen floor. Actually, because I'm going to be using the other side, let's hide the knot underneath, like that. And then I'm just going to do my running stitch all the way round the edge. That sounds like a postman might be coming down the road. Now you all know what that means. It means Boo's going to get herself all bitter and twisted. I'm going to chuck my scissors on the floor in a minute. My elbow keeps bashing them. Okay. Whoops. Yeah, this is what I said last time I showed you this book. I really should have not stitched all these in until I'd worked on them, but I've already done it and I'm certainly not taking them out, so it is what it is. And you think, as a junk journaler, knowing that you've got to do all the fancy bits to the pages before you sew the signatures in, I'd have known that. Obviously wasn't thinking. And I'm just thinking that by doing this, I am giving myself a lovely frame on the back for the next piece of work. I'll show you what I mean, because this running stitch is obviously going all the way through. Oh look, and we can jump over that line of stitching. That's a bit of fun, isn't it? Oh, it's not very straight. Please no. I've stitched it to 2 pages. Oh, right. But only down this line. So we are going to be putting this out. No, we're not. Yes, we are. Because I can't have that. That's because I was just thinking about the frame on the other side. And I just flipped it. I'm glad I did. So I don't want to go any further, do we? Somebody made a comment last week. What was it I muffed up? I can't remember. I was doing something. Oh, I was sewing the journal signature together. And I just sewed it together. I didn't sew it to the cover. It was so stupid. And somebody commented, there you go, that's undone that. Right, let's do that again. Somebody commented about how nice it was to, you know, have it real and see the mistake and that I hadn't edited it out. Well, you should know by now, everything's real here. I mess up a lot and I don't edit out. I share with you. I think it's important. I don't think there's anything worse than somebody who is, you know, comes across as perfect. If you're new to something and you're trying to learn, you don't really want somebody else's perfection rammed down your throat. Well, I don't think so anyway. Which is why you will always find boo-boos or bloopers, as they used to call them on that TV show. You will always find bloopers on this channel because I am not perfect. I certainly don't profess to be. In fact, I don't think I would want to be, because you learn from your mistakes. And if you never make any mistakes, well, you never learn anything, do you? That's my philosophy. It's like I made lemon marmalade yesterday. Yesterday as in Thursday, not Saturday, because I'm filming ahead. I think it was during the video that the camera went off in, actually, and I told you, oh, that's the alarm for my lemons. I must go and do my lemonade. Anyway, my marmalade. Anyway, I'm telling you this not because I'm perfect and I can not sew in a straight line, but I can make marmalade. I'm telling you this because that's the 4th batch of marmalade I've made, and it's the first one that actually set. And that's what I'm excited about. That, you know, I fluffed it up 3 times and then I got it right. Because I'm not perfect and I'm not a jam maker. And the only thing, if anyone's having problems trying to make marmalade, the only thing that I did different, because I consulted many recipes each time, this time the only thing I did different that made it better, or that I did and it has set, is I left the pips of the lemons in and fished them out at the end before I put the sugar in for the rapid boil. That was the only difference, and yet it has set. So I don't know if that is the reason why, or if I did something else that I didn't appreciate that I did. But I'm wondering if there's something in the pips that, you know, is a form of like pectin or whatever. Anyway, so yeah, I'm not, you know, I'm telling you because I'm pleased I finally got it right. Was a lot of hassle. Don't know if I'll ever bother doing it again. But I've got to be honest and say the stuff that didn't set, that was more of a fruit syrup, it got used. I mean, there was one orange one I did with Cointreau. I thought, well, that'd be nice. We could get drunk at breakfast. Not really. Obviously, you boil out the alcohol. So, because it didn't set and it was liquid, and if you was prepared to eat your toast with it running off the side, fair enough. Because the flavour was amazing. So I ended up using it in my slow cooker to cook my gammon. So I didn't get wasted. Just like most of the things in my life, didn't get used for the purpose that it was intended for. So there you go. So we've got our pajagi, is it? I think it's pajagi. I do apologise if that's a really bad pronunciation that I've got wrong. But I think that's what it was. It's done. It's done. And it's in my book, look. So all that remains, as always, is to say thank you so much for spending time with me. Not only today, but all the other times that you've done so. It is very, very much appreciated. I appreciate each and every one of you. I really, really do. So, let's take that off. Let's pull the pins out because it's now attached. And there is my pajagi piece. It's all done. It's all sewn on. And look, it's very light because I used the light thread. But there is a frame there. Now, if I whip stitch a dark colour through there, we'll have a wiggly frame to put the next bit in the middle of. That's quite clever. I like that. So there you go. I hope you've enjoyed it. Stay safe. I'll see you very soon. Ta-ta for now.